Hello and welcome to another update video about DOT. The situation is basically, like yesterday, not very clear on the microstructure. To be honest, whatever I do, I only see 3 waves up. I mean, if you want, you can count 5 waves up here, but it's not adhering to Fibonacci guidelines really that we should use. So yeah, you might say this was a really long wave 1, this was a wave 2, because people ask me, this would be a wave 3, this would be a 4, this would be a 5, and then we would be in a wave 2 now. But to be fair, it's an unlikely count, because the third is too short. Yep, it doesn't need to be longer than 1, but when we talk about probabilities in crypto, I mean, the third is basically always the longest one, okay? I would go, I would say that we cannot trust the third wave that isn't longer than the first. In addition to that, the third looks like a 3-wave move. Okay, you might want to count this as the 5th then. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so within the third wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then the 5 is extremely short. So there are issues with that structure. Because someone proposed that to me. I mean, I'm looking at all sorts of structures and I consider them all typically, and I disregard the ones that aren't very likely. So just want to explain why I do not see a 5-wave move to the upside. So I only see 3. Again, that leaves 2 options. It's either wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and we get one more high in wave 5. Then we have a leading diagonal. That's a valid count. And that would be okay. But at some point, it should really turn to the upside from here before breaking below $6.28. Yep, because a break below $6.28 would suggest that this diagonal is not going to work out. In a diagonal pattern, even though there isn't really a very, very strict rule or guideline about the depth of a wave 4, it's from experience that I can tell you that already below the 50% retracement level, okay, we have broken that briefly, but not sustained below it, but definitely below the golden ratio, the 61.8 retracement. I mean, below those levels, you can't really trust a wave 4, also not in a diagonal. So it would then likely be something else. So either it's turning to the upside here and it's forming the 5th wave to, let's say, $10.80 plus. That's what I would like to see. Or if the move down continues, which also appears likely, to be honest, it's not very clear. I can only tell you that below 628, it's likely not a diagonal anymore. It can still be bullish, and I would track primarily a bullish scenario, but it would be far less reliable, and it is much more likely than for it eventually to break. But as long as this is a bullish market, and as long as I see bullish scenarios, I will track them and use the support areas basically to highlight when it's going bearish. What would be the alternative bullish scenario? Well, it would mean that this was an ABC pattern. That's the second possibility. And that means the pullback could be an ABC as well in a B wave. So A, B with a C wave to come. To be fair, so a few people suggest that we already have 5 waves up. Well, if we do, then, I mean, I could be wrong. That's, to a degree, it is subjective interpretation, right? But would it make a difference? Not at all. Because if I call this a wave 1, if I call this a wave 2, it's the same support like the AB, okay? So even if I'm wrong, the support area should catch it. And even if this is a 1-2 setup, then the $4.39 level is support. So again, even though the count might be a different one, the support level is the same, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so it would turn into a purely academic discussion, which is not very productive. So it's not about being right or wrong about the count. It's about having the support levels on the chart that matter, so that we have some levels to watch, some parameters to watch, to understand when the chart deviates, for example, from the plan that this is a diagonal. It's already getting challenged. And to be fair, I see a potential head and shoulders pattern develop here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Now, I'm not a great fan and promoter of head and shoulders patterns. They often enough don't work out, and we don't need them because we've got the Elliott waves. But yeah, if this line breaks, followed by a break below 628, we're likely going to land in the yellow box for the B wave pullback, and that level is around 645. So pay attention to that level. And then, yeah, again, if that breaks, we have one more support at 628. And then it's drifting into the scenario here in the lower support area. And then we have support levels at $5.84, $5.19, and $4.39. Yeah, that's my update about DOT. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.